Section of microbiology, a very basic and simple process. Infection, surgical process by penetration of the microorganism leading to the obvious or latent disease in a carrier state. Sometimes it may or may not cause a disease. So according to the host and parasite relationships, they are divided into saprophytes and parasites. So we know saprophytes are that which are living on the dead and decaying matter, but one example is the B. subtilis, which attacks the human beings, and it is when the human beings devitalize, that is his decrease the resistance or immunity, then it attacks the parasite. We know the parasite is nothing but which depends on the host for its nutrition and nourishment, so it can enter and multiply the host. So mainly the parasites may be pathogens or commensals. Pathogens are which are affecting us, and commensals are which are taking our use, but they neither cause harm nor give any benefit to the host. So based on the types of the parasites, they are divided into the pathogens and commensals. The pathogens are able to cause the disease, and they are again divided into primary and opportunistic pathogens. So what are primary pathogens? They are able to cause the disease in healthy individuals also. Opportunistic cause the infection when the opportunity arises, when the host resistance is lowered. And next we have the commensals. Commensals live in a complete harmony without causing any damage to the host, and are divided into facultative pathogens. So what are facultative pathogens? They may cause infection when the host resistance is lower, same like this opportunist patches. Type of infections, actually primary infection, primary as the name says, first time attacking. Reinfection, the attack of the infection, but this time the same infection in the same host attacking again, is known as reinfection. Secondary infection is infection by a new parasite, actually, that is so the name secondary, by the new parasite in a host whose resistance is lowered by the pre-existing, that is already a person is having the infections and he is attacked by another infection, so this is known as secondary infection. Infection means when more microorganisms cause the infection simultaneously in the organism host. We have the focal, as the name says, focus, it focuses only on the localized area, only on the one side. So the localized infections or sepes, such as sinusitis is attacking the nose, appendicitis, appendix, and tonsils. So these are like in the generalized areas, such as vague physical or mental disturbances and also allergic reactions are known as focal infection. Cross infection means a person is already suffering from the disease, but when a new parasite set up a new infection from another external host, this is known as cross infection. And next we have the nosocomial. This is nothing but hospital acquired. Usually we see in hospitalized patients this is also cross infection, because again hospitalized means already a patient is joined because he's having some disease, so again the parasite attacks. So iatrogenic infection, that is the infection acquired during the diagnostic or therapeutic procedures, that is or any other diagnostic process. Sometimes the infection may pass to us. This is known as iatrogenic infection. That effects they produce are divided into inapparent infection, that is the infection in which the clinical effects are not seen, that's known as subclinical infections. And next coming to atypical infection, that is in infections a typical characteristic manifestation of particular disease are not seen are called atypical. And next the latent infection, we already know these are the infection in which parasite remain in the tissue in a latent or hidden form that proliferate and produce a clinical disease when host resistance is lower. So these parasites are already present in our body in a hidden form, so we don't know until that disease is coming to us. So till that time they are in the hidden end. And next we have the infections based on the source, that may be endogenous or exogenous. Endogenous means the infections, the source is from inside host's own body. So we know autoimmune infections in which our own body cells attack on our body and causing the infection. And exogenous, the source is from outside, as the name says, external and not from host, they are known as exogenous. And next mention various source, humans. In humans is the most commonest source for the infection. The parasites may originate from the patient, because sometimes from one patient to other they may carry, or they may carried indirectly by the carrier. So carrier is the one who transfers the disease without having any infection to them. So types of carriers, we have healthy carrier. Healthy, as the name says, a carrier is healthy without any disease, but he carries the infection. Convalescence carrier is who has already recovered from the disease but continues to harbor the pathogen in his body. And next temporary, as the name says, temporary, who carries only for a short time, so less than 6 months. And chronic carrier, that is carries for long duration, that may be for many years also. And contact carrier, as the name says, contact, because of the the one who acquires the organism from the patient. Paradoxial carrier, that is one who acquires the organism from another. Next, the precocious carrier, that is one who carries the organism during incubation period. The most persons suffering from the latent or subclinical infections are important sources, that is from the patient to carrier to the suspectable individual. Certain pathogens are able to cause infection in both humans and animals. We know animals are a major source of infection. So the transmission of the diseases from the animals to the humans is zoonotic, and the infections from the animal to man are transmitted by contact with animal bite, ingestion of milk or meat, and in some animals infection is asymptomatic, that is such animals maintain the pathogen in the nature and may serve as a reservoir for human infections, that is reservoirs. And the examples of the zoonosis are the plague, rabies, hyatid disease, and also brucellosis. Insects like mosquitoes, ticks, mites, flies, lice, bugs, etc. also transmit, we know this. And these transport carriers or vectors, we already know this, but the disease caused by them is known as arthropod-borne disease. So this we need to remember. And next, there are two types of vectors actually, the mechanical and biological. The mechanical are which we carry the organism on their legs, wings or body, and they transmit to the eatables what we eat, so they get infected and we also get infected as a source of infection. So the transmission, you can see examples like shigellosis, salmonellosis by the domestic fly, and there is no development of the pathogen occurs during transmission. Actually development doesn't take in the pathogen, but the biological vectors which carry the in their body itself, and they also undergo the development, like we know in malaria parasite development takes place in the mosquito, and interval of the time required actually for the biological vector to become infectious is known as extrinsic incubation period. It begins from the time of entry of the pathogen. So some vectors also act as reservoir hosts. For that we can take examples as ticks in replacing fever, and also it is seen in spotted fever. So let's see soil and what soil may serve as a source of infection of microorganisms to survive in soil for long periods. So in soil, through soil we may get the fungal infections such as histoplasma capsulatum, and also parasitic infections such as roundworm, hookworm, bacterial infections such as CL, tetany, spores survive in the soil for a long time, and also nocardia species. So water also acts as, why not water also acts as infector either due to contamination and also presence of aquatic vector. We know contamination caused by Vibrio cholera, hepatitis A virus, and also presence of aquatic vector is guinea worm. Food contamination may be source of infection, we know. So the presence of pathogens in food is due to the external contamination, that is staphylococcal food poison, pre-existing infection in animals, for example like brucellosis. And next we have the preconditions for transmission. The pathogen must leave the body of the infected person. The pathogen must be transferred by some agency, of course like vectors, and also must gain the entry into the body of the new host. So transmission also by air, you know, while talking, coughing, the respiratory tract, the mouth and respiratory tract are expelled out in the form of droplets. Yeah, sneezing is most dangerous because there are 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 organisms released out. So the fate of droplets actually depends upon the size. So if the droplets are greater than 100 microns, they fall in the ground and they dry. Pathogens resist drying and remain viable in dust and also cause infection. So the droplets smaller than 10 microns evaporate easily to form the minute particles called droplet nuclei and remain airborne for 1 to 2 hours, acting as a source of infection. Transmitted by this route are tuberculosis, influenza, measles, mumps. The contact may be direct, indirect. If direct, by sexual intercourse, kissing or close body contact. This route transmits contagious disease, syphilis and gonorrhea. In indirect contact, we have the agency of fomites. So what are these fomites? Like clothing, bedding, pencils, toys, you know, all these things also act as a transmission. Example for this is diphtheria in school transmission, children by sharing of pencils, and transmission of trachoma by sharing of face towels. So by eating, actually we know many diseases. Gastrointestinal tract infection are generally transmitted by ingestion of food or water. Infectious transmitted ingestion may be waterborne like cholera. Because of food contamination we may get food poisoning, we know that. And hand diseases, dysentery. In hand-borne infection, hands contaminated with organisms in fecal matter during feeding if hands are not properly washed. These are vectors that transmit infection person to another. So the transmission again mechanical. We know mechanical means legs, wings, body. There where no development takes place in the microorganism, but biological transmission during where development is take place. Example in malaria. And inoculation. Inoculation pathogen, some infections may occur direct inoculation of causating agent in tissue, transmission of rabies virus by dog bite, arbovirus by insect vectors, and also by inoculation, iatrogenic, that is any blood transfusion or unsterile syringe, surgical equipment like HIV, hepatitis B. So always be careful to use a sterile syringe to disease transfer like diagnosis or therapeutic procedure diseases like catheterization, injection, lumbar puncture, dialysis. So this type of transfer is known as iatrogenic. So we need congenital transfer. It may be from mother to the placenta. So passing through mother to placenta are Treponema pallidum, HIV, rubella virus, Plasmodium species are able to cross the placental barrier. Capacity of microbe to produce disease or tissue injury is known as pathogenicity or virulence. So the term pathogenesis uses the ability of microorganism to produce disease. Example, Mycobacterium tuberculosis pathogenic. And the term virulence is used for the ability of microbes to strains to produce the disease. So the pathogenic species are like tuberculosis contains strains of varying degrees of virulence, including those which are avirulent. So what are these virulence factors? They are adhesion. Adhesion means first we need to know that the microorganisms need to get to attach to the host cells. So then only they can enter the body and cause the disease. So this mostly attack is on the epithelial cells of the host. So they usually attach to the epithelial cells of the host, which is an important virulence factor for the extracellular pathogen. And adhesion is a complex process involving specific components of microbial cells and receptor site on host cell surface. So the structures on the microbial cells mediate the adhesion are known as adhesins or ligands. These are specific surface molecules interact with the host cells. These are pili or fimbriae in the glycocalyx, an extra outer layer made of polymer fibers. So these also help in attaching to the cell, and the lecithin or other components. Loss of adhesion makes the strain avirulent. So virulence, one of the properties adhesion. And next is invasiveness, that is the ability of the microorganism to invade into the cells and multiply in the healthy tissue. So the capacity of non-toxinogenic organism to produce disease depends upon the quality of the invasiveness. So there are two categories like gram-positive cocci. They attract the phagocytic cells, but you remember phagocytic cells may damage this, but now what they do is by chemotactic mechanism they attract them and they resist the phagocytosis and spread in the tissue. So they have that resistance capacity. What are those examples? Pneumococci. With the help of capsular polysaccharide, so the capsule helps to resist from phagocytosis, a major defense mechanism used to prevent invasion and invade the lung tissue, causing extensive damage leading to the pneumonia. So pneumonisms like tuberculosis, Salmonella species, Brucella are engulfed by the phagocytic cell but resistant to the phagocytic killing and spread with the help of phagocyte model to various parts. So toxicity. So this is also one of the virulent property, that is the ability to cause the disease and produce toxins and inhibit the host cell function or kill the host cells. So the bacteria, two types of toxins are produced, endotoxins and exotoxins. So actually LPS, if you remember, liposaccharide is the outer membrane of the cell wall of the gram-negative bacteria. They're having the properties of hypotension, shock, fever, disseminated intravascular coagulation, and also cause death of the host cells. So because of this toxicity, as they are incorporated with cell wall, they are called endotoxins. So exotoxins by contrast are not structural components of the cell and are released from the bacteria into surrounding media. Important properties of the endotoxins as exotoxins are released. Endotoxins are the integral part of the outer layer of the cell. As we remember, it is a part of the cell wall. Exotoxins are not structural components released into surrounding medium. The chemical nature complex containing phospholipid polysaccharide protein, and this is protein in nature. This is heat stable, heat labile, that is it can't tolerate heat, readily inactivate by heat. Actually it inactivated by it at 65 degrees in few minutes. Toxic but less potent, but this is highly potent. Exotoxins are highly potent, remember. Endotoxins are less potent, less specific in their effect, but they are more specific in their effect. Example, toxin of Vibrio cholero, enterotoxic, Velki, Hemolytic, tetani, neurotoxic. So can't be toxided. Treatment with formalin or heat converts into as it is. You can remember that exotoxins has how much they are active to produce damage to the cells. In the same way they are very easily destroyed, but these are not destroyed and also not causing so much effect to the cells. The treatment with formalin or heat converts into inactivated form known as toxoid, which is non-toxic but antigenic and forms antitoxin, which specifically reacts with toxin and neutralize it. So these are weakly antigenic, highly antigenic. Produce gram-negative bacteria, remember endotoxin, but produced by gram-positive as well as gram-negative. These are example Corynebacteria, carbon dioxide loving bacteria, Bacillus anthracis, Clostridia, Staphylococci, E. coli, Vibrio cholerae, Shigella, Bordetella species, etc. So capsule is also last virulence factor. We know the virulence of is influenced by non-toxic polysaccharide material in capsule. Capsule serves as a physicochemical barrier and prevents the phagocytosis. So it also helps to provide. It also acts as a barrier against the action of antibodies and increase the invasive, that is more capacity to enter into the cell and destroy them. It may also help in the resistance of lysosomal enzymes. So that is about capsule. So there are also other virulence factors like coagulase. What it does is an enzyme produced by Staphylo aureus forms a fibrin barrier like network-like structure which protects the bacteria to prevent the attack from the host cell. Lysine. It's an enzyme also known as fibrinolytic that promotes the spread of infection by breaking down of fibrin barriers in tissues. So this fibrinolysin, as name says, fibrin lysine, it lyses of host cells fibrin barrier and fibrin clots are formed at the site of infection to limit the infection to a small region of the body. And next, the hyaluronidase. An enzyme produced by Streptococcus breaks down the hyaluronic acid and promotes spreading of organism. Leukocidin, produced by some bacteria, cause damage to polymorphonuclear cells. IgA protease. These are produced by gonococci and anaerobes, which acts especially on IgA antibody, play important role in the local immunity. Collagenase. It is produced by C.L. Welke, breaks down the collagen network, supporting the connective tissue and contributes in spread of infection. Bacterial surface antigens such as 6 antigen of Salmonella typhi, K antigen of E. coli help to resist the phagocytic and lytic action of the complement. So other enzymes are proteases, nucleases, lipases, which also serve to depolymerize the host proteins, nucleic acid, and lipid enzymes catalase, peroxidase, superoxide, dismutase, heparinase are produced by various organs, contribute to the pathogenesis. So all these are causing the pathogenicity. And the infecting dose, actually to produce a successful infection, entry of adequate number of bacteria dose is important. So it is estimated as minimum infecting dose, that is the minimum number of bacteria required to produce clinical infection in animal under standard condition. Minimum lethal means death. So the minimum number of bacteria required to produce a death in the animal under standard condition. As animals exhibit considerable variation susceptibility, these are more correctly estimated as IDL 50, LD 50. ID means infecting dose 50, lethal dose 50. So 50% is enough to infect the animals and also 50% is enough to kill the animals tested under standard conditions. And the route of infection, so the route may be enter through the optimal route. Example, organisms like cholera are effective only by oral route but not by other routes. However, some organisms like Staphylococcus, Streptococcus can initiate infection by any route. So broadly classification infections extent is localized, general. Localized means only superficial or deep, but generalized means localized infection may become generalized when immune system fails. So bacteremia, what is this? It's a circulation of bacteria in the blood. Actually it is transient bacteria, frequently seen in healthy individuals during chewing, brushing of teeth, straining at stools. The bacteria immediately killed and unable to initiate infection, but the bacterium of longer duration occurs during generalized infections. Example, typhoid fever. Septicemia, when bacteria circulate, multiply and form toxic products in blood, then is known as septicemia. Pyemia means it is also septicemia caused by pyogenic bacteria with multiple abscess in the internal organs such as spleen, liver and kidneys. Pyogenic bacteria means pus forming bacteria. And next, classify infectious disease based on the spread in community. So endemic means constantly in particular area. The disease spreads rapidly at a large number of members of community. Similar condition among animals is called epizootic. So in animals, epizootic, epidemic in humans. Sporadic means a few scattered cases occur in later part of epidemic, when the virulence of the organism is low and the resistance of population is high. Pandemic, now we can see when a large number of persons affected many countries within short, like called pandemic, like Coronavirus. Prosdemic, that is epidemic disease which is smoldering and often transmitted from person to person chiefly by contact. Even